Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, we start our class of community medicine for 4th year MBBS. We are going to cover the unit of environmental health in several lectures starting from today. First of all, let us go through the topics of study in the unit of environmental health. Air pollution, ventilation, greenhouse effect, ozone depletion, global warming, light-related disorders, noise pollution, radiation, air temperature, atmospheric temperature and pressure, humidity, and housing. This unit also includes community water supply. This is a long chapter through which Professor Dr. Humayun will go through with you at some later time. Let us first discuss some major definitions in this topic. First of all, the definition of environment is an important one. Environment includes all the external conditions, circumstances, and influences surrounding and affecting the growth and development of an organism or community of organisms. So basically, these are all the external factors that influence the growth and development of humans and other living organisms. Next is the definition of environmental health. Environmental health is the study and management of environmental conditions that affect the health and well-being of humans. This means that this is a science in which we study different conditions that affect our health and well-being. Not only we study these factors, but also we try to understand how to manage these conditions for the well-being of human beings. The environmental health is a term which has replaced the previously used term called environmental sanitation. Proper environmental health now requires the services of public health qualified doctor, the epidemiologist, the public health engineer, the town planner, the sociologist, the economist, and the health inspector. Now, coming to the classification of environment. Environment can be classified into two major classes, the internal environment and the external environment. The internal environment is also called microenvironment, and it consists of each and every component part, every tissue, organ, and organ system within the human body, and it is the domain of internal medicine. The external environment is also called macroenvironment. It consists of those things to which man is exposed after conception. The external environment is defined as all that which is external to the individual human host. The external environment can be further classified into three components. Components of the external environment include physical components, biological components, and psychosocial components. The physical component. Physical environment is essential for healthy living. These components should be in such a state that they are favorable for the host and unfavorable for the survival and growth of agents like microbes. Physical environment includes air, water, soil, housing, climate, geography, heat, light, noise, debris, radiation, etc. We are going to go through the physical environment components one by one later. Then comes the biological environment. The biological environment consists of animals and plants and other organisms. It is intimately related to infective disease, and its components can act as reservoir, as vector, and also as agents of infection. And the biological component of environment includes man, viruses, microbial agents, insects, rodents, animals, and plants. The third component of the environment is the psychosocial component. It includes the complex of psychosocial factors influencing the health of individual and community. The effect of the psychosocial environment on health is clearly related in the differences in morbidity patterns of rural versus urban areas. Also in the factors influencing the developing versus the developed countries. The psychosocial component of environment includes cultural values, customs, beliefs, habits, attitudes, moral religions, education, etc. So, once again, the components of the external environment include physical, biological, and psychosocial environment. Now coming to other definitions, the atmosphere is the envelope of gases that surrounds the earth and is held here by gravity. The atmosphere basically regulates the earth's temperature so that it is favorable for human beings to live on, along with other living organisms. What is the difference between climate and weather? Climate is the average weather in a relatively large area which changes over many years. On the other hand, the weather is the short-term state of the atmosphere in a locality. The values of the weather, such as temperature, humidity, and precipitation, can change significantly within a day. So basically the difference between the climate and weather is that the climate involves a large geographical area, while the weather is a short-term state of the atmosphere in a local or small area. The second difference between the climate and weather is that the climate changes over many years. So it changes over a long duration, while the weather changes may occur many times within a day. Now we come to the major topic of air pollution. Clean air is considered to be a basic requirement of human health and well-being. However, air pollution continues to pose a significant threat to the health of human beings worldwide. According to the WHO, the World Health Organization, assessment of the burden of disease due to air pollution, more than 2 million premature deaths each year can be attributed to the effects of urban outdoor air pollution and indoor air pollution. Air pollution can be defined as The presence in air of substances in concentrations sufficient to interfere with health, comfort, safety, or the full use and enjoyment of property. Substances released into the air, therefore, are considered potential air pollutants in terms of their effects not only on human health but also on agricultural products and on buildings, statues, and other public landmarks. The air atmosphere with which man comes into contact is of two types: the external atmosphere, which is air space outside the room, and the internal atmosphere, that is airspace inside the room of a building. First of all, we are going to discuss the major sources of air pollution in the external atmosphere. The major sources of air pollution include, first of all, automobiles. Motor vehicles are a major source of air pollution throughout the urban areas. They emit hydrocarbons, carbon monoxide, lead, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter. In strong sunlight, some of these hydrocarbons and oxides of nitrogen may be converted in the atmosphere into photochemical pollutants of oxidizing nature. In addition, diesel engines emit black smoke when misused or badly adjusted, and this black smoke includes foul-smelling fumes, which are also hazardous to the air. The second major source of air pollution are the industries. Industries emit large amounts of pollutants into the atmosphere. Combustion of fuel to generate heat and power produces smoke, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, fly ash. Also, industries discharge their wastes from high chimneys at high temperature and high speeds. Many industries discharge carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, ozone, hydrogen sulfide, and sulfur dioxide. Please don't worry about all these air pollutants, as we are going to discuss each and every one of these in detail in a while. Next are the domestic sources of air pollution. Domestic combustion of coal, wood, or oil is a major source of smoke, dust, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxides. Tobacco smoke is another very important air pollutant, as the most direct and important source of air pollution affecting the health of many people is tobacco smoke. Even those who do not smoke may inhale smoke produced by others, and this is called passive smoking. Also, there are some miscellaneous sources of air pollution, such as burning refuse, incinerators, pesticide spraying, some natural sources such as wind-borne dust, fungi, molds, or bacteria, and nuclear energy programs. All these contribute to air pollution. Now we come to discuss air pollutants along with their health effects. There are more than 100 substances which pollute air that have been identified so far. The most important ones are carbon monoxide. This accounts for more than 50% of air pollution worldwide. Carbon monoxide is produced by combustion of fossil fuel and biomass. Motor vehicles are the major source of carbon monoxide, especially in the cities. Estimates of man-made carbon monoxide emission vary from 350 to 600 million tons per year. It reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood, and the result is that vital organs such as brain, nervous tissues and heart do not receive enough oxygen to work properly. The second major air pollutant is sulfur dioxide. Fossil fuel burning power plants produce about 2/3 of sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide results from the combustion of sulfur-containing fossil fuel, the smelting of sulfur-containing ores, and other industrial processes. Domestic fires can also produce emissions containing sulfur dioxide. Acid aerosol sulfuric acid is a strong acid that is formed from reaction of sulfur trioxide gas with water. The safe limit of sulfur dioxide is 80 microgram per cubic meter. The third major air pollutant is lead. The combustion of alkyl lead additives in motor fuels accounts for the major part of all lead emissions into the atmosphere. Lead is also emitted during metal mining and processing and during fossil fuel combustion. Lead poisoning decreases IQ level in young children. This is documented through various researches that are being conducted worldwide. Next comes carbon dioxide, which is very well known for its contribution in global warming and climate change. The global concentration of carbon dioxide is rising above the natural level by an amount that could increase global temperature enough to affect climate markedly. The fifth one are the hydrocarbons. Man-made sources of hydrocarbons include incineration, combustion of coal, wood, processing and use of petroleum. Hydrocarbons exert their pollutant action by taking part in the chemical reactions that cause photochemical smog. They are well known for their effects on eye damage and as carcinogens in the development of lung cancer. Cadmium. The steel industry, waste incineration, volcanic action, and zinc production seem to account for the largest emissions. Incineration is increasingly chosen as a method of waste disposal in many countries. This source of atmospheric cadmium pollution is of growing concern. Also, tobacco contains cadmium and smoking may contribute significantly to the uptake of cadmium. Cigarettes may contain from 0.5 to 3 microgram of cadmium per gram of tobacco depending on the country of origin. Cadmium is well known as a major carcinogenic factor. It causes development of cancer. Hydrogen sulfide In industry, hydrogen sulfide can be formed whenever elemental sulfur or sulfur-containing compounds come in contact with organic material at high temperatures. Hydrogen sulfide is formed during coke production, wastewater treatment plants, wood pulp production using the sulfate method, sulfur extraction process, oil refining and tanning industry. It has an unpleasant odor. It causes conjunctival irritation, mental and neurological damage. Then comes ozone. Ozone is a colorless gas formed from reactions between motor vehicle emissions and sunlight. It is the major component of smog. It is formed by reaction with sunlight of pollutants such as nitrogen oxides from vehicle and industry emissions and volatile organic compounds emitted by vehicles, solvents and industry. The highest levels of ozone pollution occur during periods of sunny weather. Excessive ozone in the air can have a marked effect on human health. It can cause breathing problems. It can trigger asthma, reduce lung function and cause lung diseases. It causes cough, discomfort, respiratory irritation, eye irritation, nose, throat and lungs irritation and decreased ability of the lungs to function optimally. The polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons are another type of air pollutants which consist of a large group of organic compounds with two or more benzene rings. They are formed mainly as a result of pyrolytic processes, especially the incomplete combustion of organic materials, as well as in natural processes such as carbonization, and they are well known to cause lung cancer. The last one and the most important one as air pollutant is the particulate matter. These are tiny solid particles composed of one or several chemicals and with many sources. Combustion is a major source of the tiniest particles. Airborne particulate matter represents a complex mixture of organic and inorganic substances. The size and composition tend to divide these particulate matters into two main groups: the coarse particles, which have larger than 2.5 micrometer in aerodynamic diameter, and the fine particulate matter, or the fine particles are smaller than 2.5 micrometer in aerodynamic diameter. Particulate matters comprise both solid and liquid particles varying in size from 0.1 to 20 microns. Smaller particles are present in aerosols. Dust is a type of particulate matter which consists of solid particles, usually 1 to 100 microns in size. Sometimes the particle size may be as small as 0.1 micron. Fumes. The fumes are particles below 1 micron, generally formed from metals and metal oxides. The third type of particulate matter is mist. Mist are liquid particles below 10 microns produced by condensation of vapor. One good example of mist is the conversion of sulfur trioxide from gas to liquid in the form of mist at 22 degrees centigrade. Sprays. These are liquid particles produced from parent liquid by mechanical disintegration processes such as atomization. The particle size varies from 10 to 1000 microns. Smoke. Smoke consists of solid and liquid particles 0.05 to 1 micron in size, produced by incomplete combustion of carbonaceous materials, while smog is the combination of smoke and fog. Coming to the health hazards of air pollution, about 1.3 billion urban residents worldwide are exposed to air pollution level above recommended limits. Air quality in the developed countries has generally improved in the past 2 decades, but in many developing countries, still air quality is deteriorated because of rising industrial activity, increasing power generation, and congestion of streets with poorly maintained motor vehicles that use leaded fuel. Air pollution can affect human beings by 2 ways. First of all, the health aspect. The health effects of air pollution are both immediate and delayed. The immediate effects are borne by respiratory system. The resulting state in cause acute bronchitis, acute respiratory irritation, acute pneumonia, and even it can cause immediate death by suffocation. The delayed effects mostly are linked with air pollution as chronic bronchitis, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, lung cancer, bronchial asthma, emphysema, and respiratory allergies. Air pollution mainly affects the respiratory, circulatory, and olfactory systems. It causes aggression of pre-existing diseases, increased susceptibility to respiratory pathogens, decreased lung function, coughing, chest discomfort, and even it may culminate into lung cancer. Lead poisons many systems in the body and is particularly dangerous to children developing brain and nervous system. Elevated lead levels in air inspired by children have been associated with impaired neuropsychological development as measured by loss of IQ level, poor school performance, and behavioral difficulties. The second aspect in health hazards of air pollution is the social and economic aspect. The social and economic aspect includes destruction of animal and plant life. It is estimated that 5% loss of crops and plants is attributed to air pollution worldwide. And the effect on plant life includes early drop of leaves and early death of plants. Also, the animals are continuously exposed to air pollution. Animals inhale the air pollutants, especially sulfur dioxide and other acidic material. This causes health hazards in animals. Also, animals who feed on polluted plant become sick, and there is also destruction of both animals and plants. Next is corrosion of metals. This causes deterioration and destruction of general properties like statues and monuments. Also, the corrosion of metals causes losses of any installed equipment outside the buildings, which is exposed to air pollution continuously. Also, damages to buildings, especially the buildings made up of limestone. The limestone, when exposed to sulfuric air pollutants, becomes carbonaceous and is washed away with continuous rainfall. Then of course all these damages have to be maintained, and there is cost increase in cleaning and maintenance. Aesthetic nuisance means that it is generally not good looking and affects the psychology of human beings. Reduction of visibility of town due to the formation of atmospheric haze, which reduces the visibility. Damage of soil, of course, all the air pollutants settle down into the soil and they cause decreased fertility of soil. Damage of clothing, as air pollution has hazardous effect on the tensile strength of fabric. And acid rain also contaminates fresh water and decreases tree growth. In order to estimate the full extent of and magnitude of the problem of air pollution, we have to monitor the air pollution, and for this purpose sulfur dioxide can be used as air pollutant for monitoring of air pollution. This gas is a major contaminant in many urban and industrial areas. Its concentration is estimated in all air pollution surveys. Next comes the smoke or soiling index. On the contrary to its name, the soiling index, it is used for monitoring of air pollution. A known volume of air is filtered through a white filter paper under specified conditions, and stain is measured by photoelectric meter. Smoke concentration is expressed as micrograms per cubic meter of air. Next is the grit and dust measurement, and then air pollution index. It is an arbitrary index which takes into account one or more pollutants as a measure of the severity of pollution. It was considered to be a cause for alarm when the value of this index rose from its value of about 12 to 50 or even more. More recently, an index is used by the Environmental Protection Agency and is called Air Quality Index. This is an index for reporting daily air quality. It tells how clean or polluted air is and what associated health effects might be a concern for us. The air quality index for 5 major pollutants is calculated, which is regulated by the Clean Air Act. These major air pollutants are the ground level ozone, particulate matter, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxide. Ground level ozone and airborne particles are the two pollutants that pose the greatest threat to human health. Air quality index is a yardstick that runs from 0 to 500. The higher the air quality index value, the greater the level of air pollution and the greater the health concern. The air quality index can be interpreted as follows. When the air quality index is in the range from 0 to 50, air quality conditions are good, as symbolized by the color green. When air quality index is in the range 51 to 100, air quality conditions are moderate, as depicted by the color yellow. So the green and yellow colors are the acceptable limits for air pollutants, while the range in the orange and red color, which vary from 101 to 200, these are unhealthy for sensitive groups and other persons as well. And then the colors purple and maroon range from 200 to 500. These are very unhealthy and hazardous levels and dangerous levels for inhalation of normal people. Next, we come to discuss the prevention and control of air pollution. The World Health Organization has recommended 5 steps procedure for control of air pollution. First of all, containment. Containment means the prevention of escape of toxic substances into the ambient air. Containment can be achieved by a variety of engineering methods such as enclosure, ventilation, and air cleaning. A major contribution in this field is the development of arresters for the removal of contaminants. For the purpose of containment, 2 main methods can be used. The first is dust collection systems. These are designed to handle heavy dust loads. And the second are the scrubber systems. These are a diverse group of air pollution control devices that can be used to remove particulates and gases from industrial exhaust streams. Some examples of scrubber systems are spray scrubbers, Venturi scrubber, mechanically aided scrubber, and wet scrubber. The second step in the prevention and control of air pollution is replacement. That is, replacing a technological process causing air pollution by a new process that does not cause that much of air pollution. Increased use of electricity, natural gas, and central heating in place of coal have greatly helped in smoke reduction. There is a movement now to reduce lead in petrol, which is a cumulative poison. In Pakistan also, the cities are already using unleaded petrol as a fuel for vehicles. Also, there is replacement of coal, firewood, lead petrol by new technology, for example, electricity, natural gases, central heating, solar power, etc. The third step is dilution. Dilution is the self-cleaning capacity of the environment that can be established by making green belts between industrial and residential areas. The capacity for dilution is, however, limited, and trouble occurs when the atmosphere is overburdened with pollutants. The fourth major step in control of air pollution is legislation. Legislation means the formulation, implementation, and monitoring of the Environmental Act and regulation. For example, application of the Clean Air Act. Legislation covers such matters as height of chimneys, powers to local authorities to carry out investigations, research and education concerning air pollution, creation of smokeless zones, and enforcement of standard for ambient air quality. Fifth and final is the international action. In this matter, the World Health Organization has already established an international network of laboratories for the monitoring and study of air pollution. These centers will issue warnings of air pollution where and when necessary. With this, we come to an end with the topic of external air pollution. Next time, we are going to discuss internal air pollution and methods of ventilation.